Many people, of course, including myself, are very aware of the Holocaust, which happened more than 6 decades ago. The tragedy will never be forgotten. But what is less well known is just a few years after the Holocaust, using the excuse of the Holocaust, Zionists has murdered many Palestinians in the name of the creation of the state. You certainly don't have to take my word for it. Take the word of the former leader of the World Jewish Congress. In 1956, he said, and I quote, "If I was an Arab leader, I would never make terms with Israel. This is natural. We have taken their country. Sure, God promised it to us, but what does that matter to them? Our God is not theirs. We came from Israel, it's true, but 2,000 years ago, what is that to them? There has been anti-Semitism, the Nazi, Hitler, Auschwitz, but was that their fault? They only see one thing. We have come here and stolen their land. Why should they accept that? Was it really the lesson of the Holocaust to punish an even more marginalized group? Take it from the word of a former Auschwitz survivor, Hajo Meyer. He said he can actually identify with the Palestinian youth, because like them, he has been denied the opportunity to education under Nazi Germany. Hajo Meyer also listed many similarities between the Nazi Germany and Israel. The capturing of land and property, denying people access to educational opportunity, restricting access to earn a living to destroy their hope with the aim to chase people away from their land. I find it particularly sad that the Holocaust survivors said the Zionists have manipulated the Holocaust for their political aim and induced Jewish citizens to become paranoid. He cited an example where Ariel Sharon said, "We know we cannot trust anyone. We can only trust ourselves." Hajo Meyer said that Israel is a Zionist state and he does not want to be represented by a Zionist state. If only more Jewish people can really honor and really learn the lesson of the Holocaust. And we should no longer believe that just because Jewish people have been persecuted in the past very brutally and needlessly, we should always see Israel as the victimized Jewish state. That is not true. Israel has the most military power in the Middle East. It's the only country with nuclear weapons. Its defense spending is almost more than half of the combined defense spending of all the Arab neighboring countries, including Jordan, Syria, and Iran, and Egypt. There is no threat to the state of Israel, no matter what the mainstream media or Israeli government want you to think. A lot of mainstream media like to say that Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East. But while there's no doubt that gay and women tend to have better rights in Israel than in other states, and it's despicable that gay people are being killed for who they are in Iran, and it's despicable that many Arab states doesn't have women's rights or doesn't respect the rights of women. It is equally important to realize that there is a strong anti-democratic and religious sentiment that control the Israeli parliament. Israel refused to enshrine an equality law that would treat all Israel citizens the same in 1992. Arab citizens living in Israel simply do not have the same equality as Jewish Israeli. Really cannot become Israeli citizens. They do not have the right to live in Israel. Also suggests that the Israel minister have approved a draft law banning Palestinians from commemoration Nakba. Nakba is the event that caused the expulsion of 1948. Under the law, any Palestinian person who commemorates Nakba would be jailed in 3 years. In addition, the Israel parliament has gave parliamentary approval to a bill that would mandate jail term for anyone who refused to say the pledge that Israel is a Jewish, Zionist, and democratic state. Stop police, anyone? According to Israel Center for Human Rights, 548 people have been reportedly denied without charges, and the center has documented 24 cases in which Palestinians reported being severely beaten by the police officers and soldiers since the beginning of the attack in Gaza. People should not tolerate any kind of violence on any targeted group of people. And that is why I'm speaking out. And that is why everyone should speak out, whether you're Jewish, Muslim, an atheist, or not. It doesn't matter. No one should have to tolerate the violence that is unleashed on many Palestinians and also on Israelis. The Prime Minister on Sunday offered a tentative peace offer to the Palestinians. He stated that he would accept the creation of a limited Palestinian. That would mean a Palestinian that would be disarmed and with solid security guarantee for Israel. We should not be over-optimistic about the proposal offered by the Israeli Prime Minister. After all, a disarmed Palestinian state would mean that the Palestinians have to concede establishing an army to defend their own country. Also, it would be very hard for Palestinians to accept a country that they can't have their own national security or control their border or airspace. Moreover, the Israeli Prime Minister said that the solution for the refugee problem, that means the refugees that were expelled from the 1948 and 1949 war, he stated that the refugee problem cannot be inside Israel. It must be outside Israel. The problem is the definition of Israel is continuously expanding under the Israeli government. Settlers continue to grab as many hilltops as they can, in the words of Ariel Sharon, and launching their own settlement. In 2000 alone, Israel confiscated more than 40,000 acres of Palestinian land, built 250 miles of bypass security road, and increased the settlement population in West Bank and Gaza by 100,000 people. Last time, the same similar offer was discussed in Camp David in 2001. The best offer President Bill Clinton and the Israeli government gave to the Palestinians would mean that the West Bank would be divided into 2 or 3 continuous fragments, with the roadway, sausage system, electricity system, and the communication system, some of them exclusively only to be used by Israeli settlers in the West Bank. Obviously, not only will Palestinians be refused from returning their homes, which violate the UN resolution, they will also lose control of some part of the West Bank, including Jordan River Valley. Negotiation with Israeli and Palestinian back in 2001, and with Ariel Sharon refusing to resume the negotiation. So the future for peace talk is not bright. So what's the solution? I certainly don't have any, since I'm not Jewish, and I won't be part of the solution. Well, not much anyways. But the offer of the Israel lobby group suggests that we must encourage Jewish voters and Jewish citizens, especially living in America, to redirect the agenda of the Israeli lobby. That AIPAC cannot be the only group that is allowed to dominate the mainstream Jewish voices. I criticize the Chinese Communist government. I do not believe that is betraying my Chinese identity. And definitely in America, even though there are Christian evangelical and a lot of diehard Christian who believe that the Middle East and Israel is God's holy land, and that's where the end of the world will play out. I believe that the church, the separation between the church and the state is still a very strong belief in America. We should be able to make sure that rational voice will overcome all the religious fanaticism that has right now prolonged the suffering of the Palestinian people and jeopardize the long-term interests of Israel and the United States, which